Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. In this video, I'm going to be talking about this new project that just launched today. It's called Maximus DAO. I'm going to tell you how to mint it, what it's used for, and why you might want to take part in being one of the founding members of this new smart contract, which has been audited twice by a really reliable team, and no middlemen, no back doors, nothing like that. So I definitely trust this project, but I also just want to say that it's totally optional. By no means am I saying go out and mint Maximus. It's totally optional, but it's really for long-term thinkers only. So what is it? What does it do? Well, basically it's one giant hex pool. So for the next 14 days, it just launched today, and we have 14 days to put as much hex into this pool as we want to maximize the bonuses in hex. Because if you don't already know, guys, there's a bigger pays better bonus and a longer pays better bonus in staking hex. What does that mean? Well, if you stake longer, you get more rewards. If you stake bigger, you get more rewards. However, today, not a lot of individual people can actually take advantage of this bigger pays better bonus because it's capped at 150 million hex. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't actually own that much hex, and not many people probably do. So the only way to fully maximize this one particular benefit in hex staking is to pool all of our hex together in a trustless, immutable smart contract, which is called Maximus DAO. And that BPB bonus is capped at 10% once we hit 150 million hex. So that's roughly the goal that I think the team is shooting for. It'd be really cool if we got there, but time will tell. So I did some quick math on the side on a calculator. So really simply put, 150 million hex staked for the maximum length, which is about 15 years, also known as 5,555 days, plus the fully maxed out bigger pays better bonus, yields about 733 million hex by the end of the stake. And that's assuming a constant rate of 6 hex per t-shirt per day, which, as we know, that's obviously going to ratchet up in the future and lead to even more gains by the end of this massive, really long stake. So assuming a very conservative payout of only 6 hex per day, again, this is going to ratchet up in many years to come, but for the next year or two, it's probably going to remain around 6. So even using that constant number, we're looking at a roughly 4.9x on the hex rewards that you'd get from being a part of this pool, plus obviously the price appreciation, and God only knows how high the price of hex is going to be in 15 years. I mean, it's hard for most people to even imagine that far in the future, which is why this is really a game for long-term thinkers. But there are a couple of benefits that you might want to pay attention to for more of a short-term trading strategy, which obviously I don't recommend. But stick around till the end because I'll tell you why and how you might be able to take advantage of this later on down the road in Hex's lifetime. Now, for the next 14 days, you can put in as much hex as you want to this smart contract. And if you get cold feet, you can actually take your hex back out. You know, you have some time to think about it, so don't rush into this. Obviously, think about what you're doing, think about what you're buying. But I'm explaining, what it is, and so you can make a more informed decision, because obviously at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own decisions, and only you. And crypto is all about self-sovereignty and not just listening to some guy on YouTube, right? But after that 14 days is up, guys, after that 14 days is up, you will be fully locked in to the contract, meaning you will mint 1 maxi per hex that you pledge to the contract, and you'll be given all that maxi token in your wallet, and you won't be able to redeem it for the underlying hex interest until that 15 years is up. Make sense? Now, you might already be aware of Hedron too. This is a little complex, but every stake now has the ability to mint 1 Hedron per day as well, and it relies on the number of B shares in the stake. So Hedron actually adds some level of value to Maxi, because along with this super long and super big stake, it'll have the ability to mint Hedron tokens every day, and that'll be a public function that anybody can run. But again, the Hedron will only also be available to redeem at the end of the stake's lifetime. So when the stake hits that 15-year mark, you'll be able to then cash in your Maxi for these massive hex reward payouts and any Hedron associated with those massive hex rewards, obviously proportional to how many Maxi tokens you get today. Or you can always acquire them on the open market later. Again, you don't have to be part of this 14-day launch phase, but I think it's really exciting, and I'm just going to play around and experiment with a little bit of hex myself personally, in full transparency. So long story short, Hedron actually adds a little bit of a premium value on top of the baseline treasury value. So what you're actually getting is the underlying hex, plus all the hex yield that stake is accruing over time, plus all the Hedron that it's able to generate and mint every day. So again, the Maxi smart contract maximizes the bigger pays better bonus. We've got one chance in this 14-day launch phase, not 15, to raise as much hex as possible. Now, again, the Maxi only gets minted one time, and stick around because I'll show you exactly how to do it in 1 minute here. Now, in my opinion, this could spur a lot of market buying for hex, or it might not. I don't have a crystal ball. It depends on how many people get excited about this. And I know we're in a bear market, so a lot of people are very, short-term minded during a bear market, and we'll see how much attention this really gets. But I think it's really cool, especially when you consider the premiums that it might be trading at in the future once we hit a bull market again. Now, theoretically, yes, you could just rinse and repeat and make one of these smart contracts under different ticker symbols over and over again, but the earliest one is probably going to be the best one. Not only is it first mover advantage, but this Maxi smart contract is essentially utilizing the very best T-share rate possible, because as we know in HEX, the share rate in HEX terms only gets higher and higher every single day. So we're getting in this huge long stake at the best rates possible. Now, like I mentioned, 5,555 days might be too long for some users to even fathom and think about. And if you're not that long-term minded, maybe this isn't for you. But even if you're not a long-term thinker, you might be able to extract some utility out of this token as well. And again, like I mentioned earlier, bear market pessimism might cause people to have a lower time preference. And that's just a fact of life. When there's a bear market and prices are down, people have a scarcity mindset and they're not able to think so long term because they need their money now. But that's actually one of the benefits of Maximus, is that it provides you instant liquidity. So rather than being fully locked into this maximum length stake, this huge stake, you now have this liquid token which you could sell on the market at any time if you need to. And on the other end of that coin, you could actually buy a lot of Maxi token if you see it trading at a big discount to its underlying value. And it will always be backed by its underlying value due to the code of the smart contract. Meaning it'll always be backed by the underlying HEX, plus the HEX rewards that it's accruing, again, plus the mintable Hedron. So let's pop over to this website right here. It's very simple. If you want to go to maximus.cash, the link is in the description below. But essentially, there's 4 value propositions for the smart contract. One is instant liquidity. So you pledge your HEX to the smart contract, you instantly get Maxi token in return, and that Maxi token is instantly going to be tradable as long as there's liquidity on the market. So someone's going to have to put up these liquidity pairs, which might take a couple of days. Again, time will tell, we'll have to see. But it gives you that option, right? It's just one more option that you have on top of HEX. Essentially, it's a derivative product built on top of HEX that just gives you a little more choice. Again, like I mentioned earlier, there's maximum yield. So they're maxing out in a maximum length stake, but also a maximum size stake, which none of us could ever achieve alone, which is why there's power in numbers, right? So we could only really pull this off with a giant HEX pool because none of us have 150 million HEX, which is like $20 million worth today, I think. Another often overlooked value prop of Maximus DAO is the gas fee savings. So in 15 years from now, the gas problems on Ethereum are only going to get worse. I hate to break it to you guys, but if the price of Ethereum keeps going up, no matter what ETH 2.0 claims to do or might do one day, you're still going to have this massive gas cost to end this stake in the future. So by combining a bunch of what would be small stakes into one giant stake, you actually save on gas fees because you only have to pay that gas cost one time. And that gas can be paid by anybody, any generous individual by the time the stake is due. And finally, it's got market utility. And what that means is that if you get Maxi now, it's actually purposely launching before Pulse Chain because you will also get a 1-for-1 copy. Obviously, if it launches before the Pulse Chain fork, you'll get a copy on the Pulse Chain network as well. And you may potentially have other incentives in the future. For example, liquidity provider incentives on Pulse X when that comes out, and maybe other yield farming opportunities. For example, if Pulse X holders vote to opt in Maxi into that earn pool, you may, again, not a guarantee, but you may be able to unlock some passive income from single-sided staking and earn Maxi that way, or liquidity farming and earn Maxi that way in the future. Now right here is the projected premium discount cycle, so there's always going to be that underlying treasury value, right? What one Maxi should theoretically be able to be redeemed for if we only count the price of the underlying HEX plus the price of the underlying interest or yield accrued in HEX terms plus the Hedron. But because markets are volatile and sometimes they underprice things, sometimes they overprice things, we might see the real market value flip-flop between discounts and premiums over time. So guys, it's time to launch the app. Alright, so here we are. Don't get scammed, guys. Only go to maximus.cash. Again, link in the description below. And make sure you're only using the legit Maxi contract address. There will be scammers and imposters like there are with everything. So just be careful out there. Don't click on any fake websites. We're going to mint Maxi, connect our MetaMask, agree to connect the dApp. Alright, so you just connect your MetaMask and here you are, and we're going to pledge however much HEX that we want. I'm just going to pledge 100 HEX for the sake of the video. You got to approve it. MetaMask will pop up. Make sure you approve that. Pay the gas fee. Alright, and once you approve it, you really simply just go ahead and mint your Maxi tokens. You're essentially pledging them to the smart contract. There's always going to be a gas fee, guys. Just confirm that gas fee in your MetaMask and wait for the transaction to go through. Alright, and there you have it. There you have it, guys. So if you want to actually go see this token in your wallet, you have to add it manually right now. So you can see my Maxi balance on the screen is 100, right? Because I just minted 100 Maxi for 100 HEX. And this is really cool, guys. We could already see that there's been, wow, 150 grand of value already in the first couple of minutes, really, because I'm doing this in the first couple of minutes. So we've already raised this much HEX. And again, we're just going to get that to show up in MetaMask. So if you don't know how to add a token, I'll show you really quick. You highlight this token right here, this contract address, you copy that, you open up your MetaMask, scroll down, and then click import tokens right here. Click import tokens, go to custom token, and paste that right in there. And it'll automatically pop up with the symbol Maxi. And see right here, I've got 100 Maxi tokens, import them, and there you have it. Pretty exciting, guys, and pretty easy too. Just a couple of buttons to click. And again, this dashboard feature is really, really cool. I'm going to be refreshing this throughout the day just to see how much Maxi is actually in this. But if we can hit 150 million, I think that would be great. And after refreshing, it looks like people are piling into this thing. So we've already got 300K pledged. And we'll see if we get to 150 million. So there you have it, guys. To wrap things up with the value prop one more time for Maximus DAO. Gas savings, instant liquidity, meaning you get the coins in your wallet right away to sell them if you want to, or you can go buy more if there's a liquidity pool available. You maximize the HEX rewards for both longer pays better and bigger pays better, and the market utility in potential LP farms or potential earn rewards for PulseX maybe in the future. So I'll end on this note, guys. What do I think is actually going to happen in reality? Let's set some realistic expectations, right? There might be a pump in Maxi just based off of this new coin effect. You know, the general sense of if there's a new coin, people are going to rush in to maybe buy it on the open market. They might or they might not. You know, we saw an initial pump with Hedron, for example, a quick 7-8x, but then it immediately dumped right back down. And I have to be realistic and just warn you guys, okay? We're in a bear market, so I fully expect a lot of people to not really have this long-term vision, especially in a bear market. And so I think that Maxi for a while, at least until we get a bull run again, will probably trade at a deficit to the underlying HEX value. Now, if you can see the future and if you can see the bigger vision here, this might actually be a good accumulation period because we know once the bull market happens and picks back up again, Maximus will likely have a premium or likely trade at a premium in maybe anywhere from 1 to 3 more years from now. So if you want to scale into Maxi, and if you're a really, really long-term believer and a really long-term holder with a long-term mindset, you might want to scale into Maxi at a deficit when it's trading under its market value, or under its treasury value rather. You might want to scale in as a strategy to essentially buy shares of an epically long stake while nobody else really cares about it. This could be a very long-term strategy to essentially buy the right to redeem HEX in a giant smart contract when no one's really paying attention. Now that's a very advanced strategy, and it's a strategy only for people with the eyes to see it, but I do predict that we might see a deficit in the Maxi price for a while. And if you believe that HEX is going to be around in 15 years, which I believe it will be, it could be a good idea to scale in. Again, not financial advice, totally up to you. Use the smart contract or don't. This is a totally optional add-on to HEX, but it just gives much more speculative stickiness to the entire space. And it adds one more layer of complexity onto HEX, and as we know, us crypto nerds love complexity. So, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you learned something, and I will see you on the next one.